Hello there! Welcome back to my channel! So good to see you! Let's cut right to the chase, shall we? So, Warrior is a movie I have seen way too many times. Overall, Warrior is a grounded movie. It's realistic, it's full of care, and it's beautifully crafted. Such a shame that it didn't get more attention when it first came out in 2011. Both the critics and the audiences love this movie.
So here I am, a humble creature, asking a person to give this gem a chance.
If you have not seen this movie, please do so and come back later. Here's your chance to do yourself a favor. I recommend it with all my heart. But of course, if you like to live dangerously, by all means carry on. First of all, Warrior is more of a character-driven film instead of some sports-centered movie with just bruises and blood. It's the characters and their story that really drives the film forward. But for you who just want quality violence, fear not. You get a lot of that here too. Warrior is a movie about two brothers that are victims of the past drunken wrath of their father. The father in question, Paddy, is now sober as hell. He's not shying away from what he has done. He takes responsibility and is trying to find redemption and heal the bonds he wants to have with his estranged sons and grandchildren. Contrary to that, Brendan and Tommy are not having any of it. The only thing they all have in common is the pain and the cage. It's not a movie that surprises you on and on. Not at all. It's how the structure in the movie is built where the movie crafts the drama. The story is quite plain and simple, really. Three people tormented by the past and their actions. Tommy, the youngest son, hot-headed and blinded by pain that shaped him into this aggressive being. There's Brendan, on the other hand, that is not as hot-headed as his younger brother, but is instead more calm and collected. Sure, he is also hurt, but he chose to go with it in the opposite way, where he uses the pain and aggression into being a much better father than he initially had of his own. And then there is Paddy, the father, the source of all this anguish, the man who lost both his sons, his wife, and his honor. But he did gain sobriety. In fact, at the start of the movie, he is coming up on 1,000 days sober, and he actively tries to get the connection with his sons back. But for Tommy and Brendan, it's already too late. They don't even like each other, being separated ages ago. They both feel betrayed by each other, since Brendan didn't join Tommy and his mother in the escape from Paddy, and Brendan feels betrayed since Tommy hid the fact that their mother was dying. Towards the end of the movie, you don't really get the revelation of who's gonna fight in the finale. It's no surprise that the brothers will end up together in the cage. Both brothers have all this tension that has been building up throughout the story, and you don't really root for one or the other. You want both to win, for both their separate reasons. The movie doesn't pick favorites, and that's not an easy feat to do. That the climax of the movie is setting up these two men to fight, I think is a beautiful detail, because it gives you the idea that it has to happen, and that the movie can't end in any other way, in any other place than the one place they all share, the cage. Let me tell you why I think the last scene in the movie is one of the best conclusions to what I think is one of the best stories ever written. The last fight of the movie is simply the result of all the pain and hardship that the brothers have endured throughout their lives. It painfully shows that these brothers had the same experiences, the same pain, but they chose to go different paths. Brendan is the oldest, the calm one, which shows in the way he fights. He is also the only brother that figured out how to not be consumed by all the anger and the hate that could possibly emerge. Brendan got away from it, but not his brother. Tommy is the youngest, the most rash and out of control. You also see this in his fighting style, where he unleashes plenty of powerful blows, almost primally. He went the path where he couldn't let go of the anger and got lost in the hate, so it made him fixate on it and became rageful. The last fight shows that their broken relationship can't be solved any other way. When the first round starts, it makes Tommy burst with violence, taking it over his older brother. Because he is convinced that Brendan let him and his mother down. Tommy is really not ready to let it go. The anger is in disarray. Brendan, on the other hand, is defensive at first, and is trying to calm Tommy down. No effect, sadly, since he refuses to budge. So he has to get close to him somehow. And he does just that by damaging his shoulder, severely limiting his movements. This is where the tournament itself is over. Tommy is no longer a threat. But the internal fight is not over. Brendan gets the upper hand physically, but is reluctant to attack Tommy. He's still trying to reason with him, saying that he doesn't have to continue. But as hurt and focused as Tommy is, he absolutely can't let it go. The song About Today by The National is playing during the last round, and it's hauntingly painful. It's also beautiful, since it reflects what you, as the audience, are feeling. You realize that the two brothers and the father now truly understand what has become of them. You understand what has become of them. Brendan knows that he should have been there for his brother, not letting him spiral out of control. Tommy knows that he's losing his grip and starts to break down because he has gotten the worst of all the bottled up feelings out. Paddy is finally seeing the full picture of what his influence on his boys has truly done to them. They have been led to this moment like a damn collision course. The movie ends with Brendan getting to Tommy, letting him give in to the moment of vulnerability, letting go of the anger and the pain. Brendan is finally there for him, pushing everyone else away, because he needs it. They both need it. Paddy watches from the distance, taking absolutely full responsibility of what has been done to them, what is still troubling them. And he smiles gently when he understands that only the two of them can find the healing they need together. The reason why I love this movie is because I love movies, and I especially love movies that show the world in a more realistic way. Forget all about the Hollywood cliches that romanticize happy endings in a world that doesn't feel grounded. I love knowing how it feels to be thrown on the ground, getting dust on my knees. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Not that Hollywood movies are bad, I just appreciate these types of gems a little bit more from time to time. And to be frank, the world isn't quite the fairy tale we would like it to be. It's good to be reminded that not every person has it all together. It's tough living, you know. And these types of movies can help people get a glimpse of it. Thank you so much for watching. And fare thee well for now.